Hello everyone. Let us discuss today's topic in this video. Today's topic is important points on preparation of journal to the final accounts. So first topic is journal. This particular topic we have already discussed in our previous video. Now again I am discussing for the purpose of in order to remember some of the points for the preparation of journal. So let us discuss the meaning. A detailed account that records all the financial transaction of business to be used for the future reconciling of accounts. So journal is a book of prime entry where it records all the financial or business transaction on a daily basis, which is used for the future reconciling of accounts. So journal is prepared with the help of transactions on a daily basis, and after preparation of journal, whatever transaction is there that we are using it, or we are transferring it to separate ledger accounts. Then from ledger accounts, all balances, debit and credit balances, we are transferring it to trial balance. There we are going to match the debit balance and credit balance. uh, Journal is a first step to record the transaction. Now, some of the points we have to remember for the preparation of journal. First is transaction, second is columns, third is sequence of entries, and fourth is narration. Transaction is nothing but it includes different business activities relating to buying, selling, receipts or payments of the business, which is measured in terms of money or in terms of monetary value. So transactions are transactions. In order to pass the journal entries, we need transactions. So transactions are usually it is on a daily basis we are entering. So next is columns. In journal we have five columns. First is date column, second is particulars, third is LF or ledger folio number, and fourth is debit column, amount rupees column, and credit amount column. So first column is date, where we have to enter the year, month and date. So sequentially we have to pass the entry, or date we have to write it. Then particulars column, where we have to write the entries, debit and credit entries we have to pass. Then LF is nothing but a ledger folio number, or the number in the ledger where we can find the particular account. So next is debit amount column, where we have to write all the debit amount, or whatever amount relating to debit we have to write it. Then credit column, we have to write whatever the entries we are writing for that amount, particular amount we have to write it in credit uh, column. Next is sequence of entries. See, always in journal we are entering on a daily basis. So one after another in a sequential order we have to write from beginning to end month. So we have to enter the transactions. Next is narration. Narration in the sense, for each entries, whatever journal entries we are passing, for each entry we have to write the narration. Narration is nothing but it is a explanation for the particular transaction. So always narration will be started with prefix of being word. Then we have to write, after being we have to write the details about the journal entry. So journal will be prepared by considering all these points. See, after journal, after preparation, after passing of journal entries, we have to prepare second book is ledger. It is a book or collection of accounts in which accounts transactions are recorded. Ledger is a secondary book of entry. So a journal is a prime book of entry. So ledger is a secondary book of entry. Here it includes a collection of accounts, means it includes separate accounts uh, e for each items. For example, cash account if you prepare, Okay, the whatever transaction relating to cash, we have to write it under cash, debit or credit. Then purchases, if you prepare purchase account, then the goods purchased on cash or credit, you have to write whatever purchases made, you have to write it in purchase account. And sales account, capital account, likewise you have to prepare different accounts here in this particular ledger accounts, and you will get debit or credit balance and depending on the accounts. Okay, so here some of the points you have to remember for the preparation of ledger. First point is columns. Okay, how many columns we have to prepare in ledger? Okay, in ledger we are preparing 8 columns. We have to draw 8 columns. First column is date column, second is particulars, third is journal folio, and fourth is amount. Likewise, this is a set of 4 columns. In debit side or left hand side we have to write it. In credit side, same 4 columns we have to prepare, that is date, particulars, journal folio and amount column. So uh, one is debit side left hand side is debit, and credit side right hand side is credit. So four columns, totally 8 columns we have to prepare. Okay, then debit and credit side in the sense, left hand side debit side and right hand side credit side. We have to write debit, like how to write the debit with D, capital D, small r. Okay, debit. Next is credit, CR, capital C, small r. Like this we have to write it. Next, closing of an account. How to close the account? Now, after every items you have entered in both debit side and credit side, now we have to close the account. Okay, at the end of the month we have to close all the accounts. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to first see which side is more. Okay, which has got more amount. We have to check whether it is a debit side amount is more or credit side amount is more. If it is credit side amount is more, you have to write the total, okay, below. Then you have to write in debit side whatever credit you have given, same debit amount also total you have to write it. Then from that total you have to deduct all the debits, whatever items are there, that you have to deduct it. The whatever left out balance is there, you have to write it there. Okay, above total you have to write that amount, and you have to write for example, if you have prepared ledger account, particular ledger account for January month, so January end you have to write January 31st. Okay, to balance carried down you have to write. Then okay, this is above the total in the debit side. Okay, then in the credit side you have to write, okay, you have to carry forward that January 31st balance into February 1st. So February 1st you have to write. Okay, in the credit side you have to write opposite side. If you have written, okay, carried down in the debit side, so brought down we have to write it in credit side. Okay, so to by balance brought down we have to write B bar D. Then you have to write the balance. How much is the balance? You have to write that is below the total. So carried down above the total, then brought down below the total. Okay, so we have to close the account. Then credit and debit balance. What is debit and credit balance? Now same in this whatever example we have discussed. For example, you got what carried down in the debit side. Okay, okay, above the total you have written. Then on February 1st you have what brought down that amount, 31st January's amount you have brought down here. So by balance brought down we have to write. Below the total what you have to write? The amount. Okay, whatever balance you got. So here we got in credit side, we have got in credit side, so it is called as credit balance. It is called as credit balance. So in the opposite, vice versa, or in the opposite side, if you get the brought down, for example, you have got closed the account, by balance brought down, you will write it in what credit side. Okay, January 31st. Okay, you'll write the balance above the total, then that balance you have to bring it to what, debit side. To balance brought down you will be writing on February 1st. Okay, then below the total you have to write that amount. Okay, balance, that amount that balance is called debit balance because you got it in debit side. Okay, in credit side if you get the balance, then it is credit balance. So we have to check whether it is a debit balance or credit balance for different accounts. After closing the ledger accounts, different ledger accounts, now it is a time to prepare trial balance. Okay, now what do you mean by trial balance? A trial balance is a statement. It is a nothing but a statement prepared with the debit and credit balances of the ledger accounts to check the arithmetical accuracy of the books. Okay, for this reason, to check the arithmetical accuracy of the books of account, we are preparing trial balance. Okay, so here both the debit and credit balances we have to take. Okay, depending upon the type of the account. For example, cash account will be getting always debit balance. Okay, capital account always it is credit balance only we are getting. So we have to check whether for any other account also we have to check like this only, whether it is a debit balance or credit balance. So next, some points to be remembered for the preparation of trial balance. First point is columns. Okay, how many columns you have to prepare? Normally here 3 columns you have to prepare. Okay, then these columns are one is what accounts column, first one. Second is debit column and credit column. These are debit and credit column, amount columns. Okay, so we have to prepare the columns. Next is debit and credit balances. We already discussed this. Some accounts will get debit balances, and for some accounts we are getting credit balances. Okay, that we have to enter it properly in trial balance. Okay, then ultimately we have to close the trial balance by matching the debit with credit balance. Okay, so list of accounts with debit or credit balance. So these are the list. I have given some of the list of items that will be helpful for you to preparing trial balance easily and quickly. So accounts with the debit balance, in the sense these some of the accounts which are normally or usually or compulsorily it will you will be getting debit balance in the ledger accounts, because trial balance whatever you are preparing, that will be after ledger account closing you will be preparing the trial balance. So in ledger accounts normally after closing the accounts, okay, whatever balance you will be getting in debit side, that will be debit balance, and whatever balance you will be getting in credit side, that will be credit balance. So these are the list of items that will be you will be getting in debit and credit balance. So first we'll see which accounts we'll be getting in debit. So first is fixed assets. Fixed assets such as furniture, machinery, equipment, building, motors, car, etc. See, all fixed assets whatever we are entering in trial balance, all we are getting debit balances only. In debit uh, column we have to write these fixed assets. Okay, so current assets such as cash in hand at banks, sundry debtors, inventory, bills receivable. See, all current assets such as cash in hand at bank, all these current assets we have to write. All debit balances we will be getting under trial balance. Now next is drawings. Drawings are nothing but goods or cash withdrawn by the businessman for personal usage. Then next, purchases. Okay. Then prepaid rent, rent received, sales returns. See, purchases debit balance you'll be getting. So purchases returns credit balance you'll get. So sales credit balance you are getting. So sales returns it is debit balance. Next is office rent. Next, carriage inward. and carriage outwards. Both we are getting debit balance, bad debts. Okay. Next, all expenses relating to factory or plant, office and selling distributed distribution. See, all these expenses relating to plant, office, selling and distribution, all we have to enter. Always you will get debit balance in your ledger account. So all these you have to transfer it to trial balance. In the debit column you have to write the amount. See, after debit balance accounts we'll be discussing accounts with uh, credit balance. See, these are the a list of items or accounts where we'll be getting always credit balance, okay, in ledger account. So after preparation of ledger account we are transferring all the balances to trial balance. So one by one we'll discuss this. First is honors investment will come under trial balance. Under credit we have to write credit balance, we have to write it. So bank loan we have to write. Then current liabilities such as creditors, bank OD and bills payable. So always all current liabilities will be getting credit balance. Then sales will be getting credit balance in the ledger account. So share capital, loan, purchase returns. See, purchases will be debit balance will be getting. So purchase return in opposite it will be credit will be getting credit balance. Then fixed liabilities such as long-term loan and debentures. See, these always will be getting credit balance. Then all retained earnings. Then reserve for doubtful debts. Then discount receivable. So this whatever list I have given will be helpful for you to prepare the trial balance. So after preparing journal, ledger and trial balance, now it's a time to prepare final accounts or final statements. So final accounts or statement includes three aspects. One is trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet. So these all concepts we have dealt in our previous video. Again, I'm discussing this for the purpose of know how to prepare the trading account easily. So now, what do you mean by trading account? Before discussing that this particular topic, we'll discuss on what do you mean by trading. So trading involves buying and selling activities, okay, or purchase or sale of activities. So in the trading account, the cost of goods sold is subtracted from net sales for the period to calculate gross profit. So in trading account, we are finding either gross profit or gross loss. How to find gross profit? Gross profit will be getting by deducting the cost of goods sold with net sales from net sales. So net sales minus cost of goods sold is equal to gross profit. So how to find out gross loss? So cost of goods sold minus net sales is nothing but gross loss. So now points to be remembered for preparation of trading account. Number of columns. So number of columns, we have 4 columns in order to prepare the trading account. First column is particulars, amount column. Another side, particulars, amount column. So we have two sides, debit side and credit side. Okay. So debit side is always a left hand side, credit side is always right hand side. Now items in debit and credit side. So in debit side, normally in order to prepare the trading account, we have nominal account rule. Okay, for the preparation of trading account as well as profit and loss account, nominal account rule we have to consider. So what nominal account rule says? So it says debit the expenses or losses, credit the incomes or gains. So all the expenses or losses we have to take it under debit side. Okay, all the incomes or gains we have to take it under credit side. Then last is closing the entry. closing the account. So how to close the account? So we have to check which side is more, whether it is credit side is more or debit side is more. Which side got more amount, that total we have to write it under total. So we have to write the total in both the sides. If the credit total is more, amount is more, then in total we have to write that total, and we have to take that total to debit side also. After that we have to deduct all the expenses in the trading account. Debit side, whatever expenses we got, all we have to deduct it from that total, and whatever resultant balance is there, that is nothing but gross profit. Okay. So if debit side, for example, it will be more sometimes. So what you have to do is you have to write the total of debit side, whatever total is there, you have to write it. After adding all the expenses, then that total we have to take it to credit side. Then from credit, whatever incomes are there from this total, we have to deduct all the income, so that we'll get the resultant gross loss. Okay. So that balance we have to take it to profit and loss account. Okay. So if you get trading account debit side, if you get the balance, that you have to take it under profit and loss account. Credit side we have to take by trading account, like that. So if you get credit balance, okay, so, or credit side, if you get the balance, what you have to do is you have to transfer it to profit and loss account. Debit side you have to write. Okay. So to trading account you have to write in profit and loss account. So trading account main aim is to find either gross profit or gross loss of a trader or trading business. Now, after preparing trading account, okay, we are preparing profit and loss account. So, what do you mean by profit and loss account? The profit and loss account is a financial report that shows the revenue, expenses, and profit and loss of a company over a specific accounting period. So, in profit and loss account, we are getting either net profit or net loss. Okay, so how we are getting net profit we are getting by comparing the debit balance with credit balance. Now some of the points to be remembered for preparation of profit and loss account or P&L account. First is columns. How many columns? Same as trading account, we have to prepare 4 columns. Okay, this is based on the nominal uh, uh, rule rule nominal account tells debit all the expenses or losses, credit all incomes or gains. So here what same rule applies to profit and loss account also as a trading account. So columns are 4. First column is particulars amount column, then particulars amount column, debit and credit. Okay, both left hand side and right hand side we have to prepare two columns. Now debit and credit side, okay, same as trading account, we have to write what the top of this one, debit left hand side we have to write DR, capital DR, and right hand side top we have to write CR, capital C, small r. Then items in debit and credit side, that is same like a trading account. In debit side we have to write all the expenses or losses, credit side we have to write all the incomes or gains. Then closing the accounts, you have to check which uh, which side has got more amount, so that total we have to write it. If it is credit side is more, you have to write the total below. So same credit and debit, you have to write the same total. Then from that total we have to deduct all the expenses, whatever resultant is there, that we have to transfer it to balance sheet. We have to write to capital account, we have to transfer it to balance sheet. And for in balance sheet we have to add it to capital. All net profit we have to add it to capital. Net loss is there means you have to deduct it from capital. Now so we have to write we have to check whether it is net profit or net loss in the business. So profit and loss account main aim is to check whether it is a net profit or net loss for a business or a trader. Now next concept is balance sheet. After preparation of trading account and profit and loss account, we are preparing balance sheet. We have already discussed this concept in our previous video. Okay, the pro forma of balance sheet and meaning of balance sheet we already discussed. Now the meaning of balance sheet. What do you mean by balance sheet? Balance sheet is a financial statement or report that contains details of a company's assets and liabilities at a specific point in time. So balance sheet is what? It is a financial report or statement. What it contains? It contains company's assets and liabilities at a fixed specific point in time. Now, important points to be remembered for preparing balance sheet columns. Number of columns for preparing balance sheet are four columns. One is left hand side liabilities column and amount column, right hand side asset column and amount column. So liability side, so left hand side we are preparing all liabilities, we have to write it. So liabilities include three heading. One is capital, okay, then another is uh, fixed liabilities, third one is current liabilities. Okay, so all these all items relating to capital, then fixed liabilities and current liabilities we have to enter in liability side. Then asset includes two types of assets. One is fixed asset, another one is uh, current assets. Okay, sometimes we'll be taking intangible asset also in addition to fixed asset and current asset. So after entering all these what liabilities and assets items, we have to close the balance sheet. So last one is closing of balance sheet. How to close it? So we have to what total both the sides of sides liabilities and assets. We have to write the total of liability and asset. So balance sheet itself tells, the name itself tells balance sheet. So both the liability side should be equal to asset side, or asset side should be equal to liability side. So we are preparing the balance sheet to know the financial position of the business or trader. In the next video, we are going to discuss some other management and commerce aspects. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.